coming to the main focus of the talk, which is bispecific antibodies in myeloma. These are antibodies or proteins that bind to two different antigens. Now, when I say antigen, I mean protein. So if I use the word antigen, I'm using it interchangeably with the meaning of protein. If you direct your attention to this Y-shaped thing on the screen, that is the general structure of an antibody. And you can see that the one arm of the bispecific antibody is attaching to the BCMA protein of the plasma cell. Again, the plasma cell is the cancer cell. And the other arm is kind of attaching to the CD3 receptor on the T cell. The T cell is your immune cell. So what this drug basically does is when it doesn't go ahead and kill the plasma cell by itself, in fact, it latches onto plasma cell using one arm, it latches onto the body's own immune cell with the other arm, brings them together, and that bringing them together activates the T cell in many, many different pathways, and then the T cell goes ahead and kills the plasma cells. So it's a really cool way of killing. It's a kind of like, not being directly involved in the killing, but yet facilitating killing sort of a way. The two FDA-approved targets are BCMA and GPRC5D, as we talked about, and which we will be talking about much more. And there are some experimental targets like FcRH5, CD28, and CD138 that are in the market. Now, the FDA-approved bispecific antibodies in myeloma will be of most interest to most patients because these are what are readily available to you because they're commercially available, they're approved, and your doctors don't have to depend on centers that have their clinical trials open because they can order themselves if their center is able to support that. Now it's approved again for patients who progress beyond 4 different types of treatments. So it's approved on the 5th line, basically, for patients. The anti-BCMA and CD3 directed bispecific antibody teclistamab was the first kid on the block, which got its approval in October 2022. And this was closely followed on its heels by the anti-GPRC5D and CD3 directed bispecific called talquetamab earlier this year in 2023. Elranatamab is the latest BCMA directed and CD3 directed bispecific antibody that just got approved last month. So we now have 3 FDA approved bispecific antibodies in myeloma, which is great news compared to just 18 months ago. The other bispecific antibodies for which we have a lot of clinical trials open, so should there need to be any, let's say, you have a trial open at your institution and your physician is asking you to consider this, these are excellent trials that are going on, and after a detailed discussion with your clinician, you can think about enrolling into these. And broadly, I just classified it into BCMA targeting and non-BCMA targeting. So the BCMA targeting includes the Amgen 701, CC 93269, TNB 383B, the PF 068 63135, and the Regeneron 5058. The non-BCMA targeting bispecific we often use and how patients enrolled on trial is called cevostamab.